Hei. Hellurei, what's up? Se olisi taas striimin aika ja tänään pelataan, ei se on tuossa alhaalla, tossa Citizen Sleeperia. Tosiaan, niin ei ole kyllä mitään hajua tästä pelistä, muuta kuin että tarina vetonen kaveri on hän. Ja niin täällä ollaan koko köörillä. Katsotaan, olisiko no, eipä siinä. Hei, lähdetään kattelemaan. Onks tää on vähän jotenkin hassusti? Ottakaa hetki. Eiks toi niinku... Haluaisin, että se on niinku... No? Eipä siinä. No niin, Citizen Sleeper. Ja tosiaan näin siis ton Citizen Sleeper 2, niinku, mikä tässä nyt on, näkyy näytöllä. Niin näin sen tuolla Steamissa ja totesin, että tää vaikuttaa mielenkiintoiselta, mutta en oo pelannut ykköstä. Niin nythän me pelataan ykkönen. Tai ainakin katsotaan nyt alkuun, että minkälainen tää on. Tää voisi olla sellainen meidän keskiviikkopeli. Nyt toistaiseksi. Mut lähdetään. Kato, empty. No niin, sitten ollaankin varmaan tässä ruudussa seuraavat 2 tuntia. Kun katsotaan, että mikä se meidän klassi on? No niin. Eli mikäs meillä on ensimmäisenä? Operator works with drones and high precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. Skillejä. A chance to gain crew on interface actions. Engineer 0, interface 1, endure -1, intuitio 0, engage 0, ok. Extractor. Engineer 0. Extractors work on resource extraction often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient and have a high level of endurance. Ok. Täällä on endure +1 ja intuitio -1. Kaikki muut nollia. Ok. Ai siis mulla on 2 vaihtoehtoa. Ei kun onks täällä enemmän? 3 vaihtoehto. Miksiköhän tää aloitti tosta keskeltä? Vähän outo valinta. Oi kauhea. Olisi pitänyt olla vettä. Jos mä vähän noin. Parempi toi kamera. Machinist. A machinist repairs and modifies automated systems used in industrial resource extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful and structured people. Eli täällä on engineer +1, mut engage -1. Tää vähän niinku houkuttelis, mut mitäköhän toi tarkoittaa toi approach a problem head on. Ok, ollaan operaattori. Otetaan vähän hiljemmalle, niin ei hajoa teidän korvat siellä. Sitten se sleeper. Joo, katoin vaan noi äänet tuolta, että toimii. No niin, the first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect. The delay between thinking and feeling. Between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost mikä sana toi on? Imperceptible, but always present. Aina lahja. Mulla on itemi. Ei oo itemi. Where are you? Continue. It's as its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be a body that was indisputably yours. Forget that body. You resist nostalgia. It is pointless, especially now. This is the moment to reach out, not curl inwards. This is your moment of escape, even if it feels immediately like you traded one prison for another, smaller, colder, lifeless. Reach out. You almost laugh, or you would if there was room or even air to do so. The walls of the container are immediately present, cold hard at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It is painful, not like you used to know pain, at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb or no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. Remember the plan. You mostly remember that it wasn't a good plan, but then your options were limited. And once you got the itch to get out by any means possible, it was either that plan or something much worse. It was at least simple. Collapse the shaft, drift away in the chaos, slip in the cargo processing, seal yourselves into containers, then just hope the freighter left before you were missed. Some were lost in the shaft. Others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough. Enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if in the airless hold of freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reach any destination. Try to rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left, surely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You have been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You've spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves of your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Time passes, the cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound too, everywhere screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light, white as the cold, softer and softer until in a haze of dirty yellow a figure appears. You are out. Jaha. Dragos, a pragmatic and private salvager. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You still sit huddled in the corner of its scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges, where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with foggy eyes, you hear a voice. So, sleeper, you all thought yet? Mä en sano mitään. I stay silent. Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better perseverance in Sub-Zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes, the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically drilling drone perches, its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he's just figuring out what to do with you. What happened to them? He ignores your question. I won't ask what led you to do it. To sell yourself to a corporation, and I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now, and you are just software. A rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property. You're not alone. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you padded into the sleeper cells. The promise of a life of a world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are the things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person, you are an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least, that last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. SNR wants to protect their property, but if they can't keep hold of you, well then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleepers. Planned obsolescence. A built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you are one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away towards the glassy dome of the yard. The Eye is the best place you could be right now. The Eye? The station. You'll see it soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you are welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion, fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. Nod. All right, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Dragos stalks back into the wrecks, his drones already converging on a rustling hulk. Plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Jaha. Welcome to the Erlin's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. Okay. Oho. Tämä voi siis rullalla. Voisi tätä pyörittää jotenkin? Ei. Okay. Eli nyt meidän varmaan pitää mennä tänne. End cycle. All cycles need to end. Rest and prepare for the next one. Okay. End kykle. Yes. Cykling. You wake up curled up in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its message is readable but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are, on this ruined station millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Escape by building a life. Building a life. Maybe you did get lucky finding yourself here. Maybe here on the edge of everything there's a life for you to build. But before you can build anything, you'll need to learn to survive. Maybe if you can do that, you can make a life for yourself. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of your sachets smell like damp wood and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring, like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright polygonal shapes, like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you've finished drinking before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best as you can and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Jaha, sitten katsotaas. Your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. It depletes by one segment each cycle, but it can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you are no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and you must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can fill your energy bar by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you will be starving. When starving, energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will also deplete at double rate per cycle. Ok, eli toi ykkönen tossa on niinku mun kunto, sit kakkonen on mun action diceit ja kolmonen on sit mun energia. Ok. Ei, sorry. Ei. Tosta piti ottaakin. Laitetaan meidät takaisin tonne. Noin. Ok. Dragos is standing in the corridor when you close up the container. He's still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor you realize it's implanted. A drone sits? Not shits. A drone shits on his shoulder. Its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Okay. The drone chirps. Good to hear. Yeah, you notice that beneath the operator's rig his skin... his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses. So, I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Sure. Righty then. He nods. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old hulls down, sell them off to the ship's yards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper, you'll be used to the manual labor. And obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn up. Chits? These. He pulls out a handful of small metal bars. Air-walled cryo, isolated from the market. It's what we use for trade out here. He stuffs them back in a pocket. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can, and sleepers, well, He trails off. But things being the way that they are, for me at the yard, he pauses. I need the help. Happy to. Okay. He pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. Will do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away with the drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Actions are the primary way you interact with the world of Citizen Sleeper. To perform an action, click and drag your chosen action dice to the slot. Actions reward you with clock progress, energy condition, or items depending on their outcome. There are 3 types of outcome. Positive, the action goes better than expected. Neutral, succession. Negative, the action fails. Action dice affect these outcomes as follows. 100% chance to be positive, 50% neutral, negative. Okay. Type either critical or repeatable. Critical actions can only be risk either safe, risky, or danger. The skill that is engineer interface into. Ok, eli ne arvot, mitä me tuossa aikaisemmin valittiin. No niin, nytkö meidän pitää tässä? Eli nyt mun pitää valita näistä nopista. Katsotaan, valittiin 4. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them, and they track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the tracking Dragon's depth, are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once in a cycle and can complete without player input. Any active cycle clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location. Okay. Pakko on varmaan laittaa tää. Unlock drives as you discover more about yourself and the world. Drives guide you in pursuing specific objectives depending on which path you wish to take. You can track drives, and any tracked drive will place a yellow marker on locations that will help you pursue your goal. Access your drive menu via the arrow button at the top left of the screen. You are now free to explore Early's Eye and make a life of yourself here. Try tracking a drive to help you survive. Look for food to keep your energy up and way to recover condition. Fill clocks to progress stories and find new opportunities. Remember to end cycle at your home when you are out of dice. Use the mouse wheel. Alla ja D-llä pystyy roteettaa. Hei, kato sieltä. Hyvä. Ok. Täällä ei nyt mitään tehtävää missä. Tai siis pystyykö näitä nyt vielä? Oota. Rotunda. Lowen Gate. Wow. Vitsi, tää menee nopeasti. Katsotaan vähän miltä tää näyttää. On kyllä makeen näköinen. Mut sit jos mä teen näin. Ei, kyllä se. Noin. Käydäs täällä. Merchants willing to run the gauntlet of the Helian system are rare, but those that do always return, eventually. Täällä ei ole nyt mitään tehtävissä vai? Ei. Mitäs täällä tapahtuu? Eiks täällähän mä olin? Joo. Mikäs tää on? Jos mä laitan tuohon neutral tai negatiivi. Katotaan. Explore the rotunda. Oi! The rotunda's passengers are dizzying, but out of intuition or sheer luck you stumble onto a new location. Tota mä en nyt kyllä vielä tee. What is this? Get a drink. You're unsure if your frame can metabolize alcohol, but this fungal drink fermented along the greenway seems like a good test. Ei täältä voi ostaa ruokaa. Eiks niin? Yes sir. Hyvä. Löydettiin paikkaa, mistä voidaan. Rotunda when wetlock. It takes several cycles to reach the starboard belt and return loaded with scrap from the old wrecks. Okay. Low end gate. Joo, tänne pitää maksaa joku tulli, niin tänne me ei mennä. Mulla olisi vielä yksi. Katsotaan sitä. Joo, täällä voisi nyt niinku kysyä suuntaa. Why wonder when there are hundreds of people that live and work within the bright market? All you need is the courage to approach them. The smells, sounds and buzzing activity of the bright market makes a dizzying place to wander, but an enticing one too. Mitäs täällä? Kävisikö täällä low end gateillä? Ei kun niin, täällä oli tää tulli, joo. After some spacers caused some trouble in the low end, the Arkan have imposed a toll for entry. No one gets in without paying. Okay. Olisiko käynyt jokaisessa paikassa? Olisiko käynyt shipyard? Jos mä laitan tohon. En ehkä, en mä nyt. Leave. End cycle. Noniin. Mut tähän meni ihan hyvin. Sanoisinko näin? Seuraava aamu. This time you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station that's shifting skeletal rings around you. For a moment you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colorless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions as you feel your thoughts slipping way down them, dissolving into the millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station? No. You feel the station like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. Observe it. Even though you have no eyes, no sight, you see and feel the map of the station. No, not the map of the station, but the map of its connections. It is a looped cloud with spokes and spires that jut out into space. It is an ingrown thing full of obsolete loops and severed pathways. It is a system, a map, and a territory all at once. You notice a tugging feeling pulling at you, insistently, as if it were a small child. Somehow it is pulling in 2 directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden, everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours, all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second and you feel it waiting there. The station splayed out across your mind. A storm of connective nodes waiting to be explored, and then it is gone. Fading. Nyt mä tarvitsisin kyllä sen lääkärin. Mutta mulla ei ole edelleenkaan siis rahaa. Mutta. No tossa on 25% chance, että toi menee. Yes, local knowledge. You manage to follow the flow of people and you start to appreciate, even enjoy the chaotic layout of the markets. Tästä käy, jos mä laitan tän. No kokeillaan. Ask for directions. A man corners you with endless stories about the eye. He asks for a donation and, desperate to escape, you hand him some cryo. Okay. New drive discovered. Mä voin saada upgrade pointteja myöskin, mikä on ihan siisti. Oliks mä täällä? Ok. Mitäs tää? No niin, otetaan hull dissection. Energiaa tippuu. Ja tarkoittaa sitä, että aivan, siis mullahan ei oo siis ens. Sais mä tosta jotain rahaa sain? Ei. Leave. Missä mun toi? Complete active scenes. Mutta ei mulla oo... What? Mikä mulla on täällä kesken? Tää. Hyvä. Pidetään ihan nopea breikki, mikä on vessassa, niin tulen ihan juuri takaisin. BRB. We are back. Read. Next comes the call from the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, but now that you are here, you aren't so sure. The ganging enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block, they have all made a long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few, and without a supply of stabilizers, your body will. You suppress a shiver and shuffle to the front of the queue, trying to find something to distract yourself. Look inside. You lean against the doorframe and look into the apartment. The entryway is dark, punctuated by the green indicators of stack of sealed containers. You lean in and see amber light filtering through a far doorway, screened with plastic sheeting beyond which blurred shapes move. The slap of the enforcer's palm against the doorway jerks you awake. Wait your turn, he growls. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway and you catch a distant voice. Send the next one in, Toshiro. The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the bright market's sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above, and for a moment you are transfixed by the motion. Come, sit, calls a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turn away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouth as if to speak, they blink and then quickly regain their composure. Please, sit. They gesture to the bed, then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. Remain still, please. Their tone is slipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you first entered. Fear, recognition, sadness unmistakably etched across their face. How long have you been on this station? They ask, the scanner still to their eye. A few cycles. They nod. It's good you came to me. They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything. They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. Your body is dying. They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. SNRP doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose. To prevent bodies from yours, frames as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or in your case, escaping, they build in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which SNRP remains the sole producer of. They look up. Sound familiar? Yes. Good. That may help. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. I'm sorry, Sabine says. And you are unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or something else. Emulations like you, sleepers as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm, and the SNRP has no reason to release stabilizer into the market. Sabine looks up as if to apologize again, but they stop themselves. I know little of this is of use to you. They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to the tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something. Anything. Sabine turns to face you. I may be able to help. They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. You saw Toshiro outside. You nod. He works for my benefactor, Yaragan. They are influential in the low end. They give me this space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds. They look away. But Yaragan has connections, smugglers from the Starward Belt, mercenaries working for the corporations of Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance. Sabine sets down their slates, their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it. Why help me? Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead. You nod and leave, still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face, but the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. Ok, pitäisikö hakea vähän ruokaa? Emphis is busy, his broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok, his other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables in some red-flecked dressing. The smell is incredible. You will watch as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with the bright salad and depositing it in plastic trays. A stack of chits rattles in his apron pocket as customers file past the burner, handing over payment. Approach. You join the queue. It's mostly made off of off-duty salvagers, backsuits unzipped and rolled down to expose stained vests, grubby mods, a lattice of scars and tattoos. They discuss the best food on the eye, the best drink, comparing notes on bright market dives, their words cut through with heavy spacer slang. Eventually it's your turn, and you shuffle to the front. Effie speaks in a deep, even tone without looking up. First try is free. Thank him. The smell is almost unbearably strong as he cooks, the earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy the smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you. You sleepers, Effie says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. A hard life. A lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap with piercing eyes. I know. Tell him a story. You begin to tell him about your journey to the eye and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him about the confusion, the pain, but also the sense of possibility and its sudden arrival. You tell him of the cold and dark of the container and the endless cycles spent within it. Now it seems you tell him like some dream that you once had but can never forget. You tell him that the eye excites you and scares you, and you are unsure where to walk, where to look, what to do. Eventually you tail off, running out of words. He places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand. Next time we can talk some more, he smiles. But next time, you pay. He slams a heavy hand against the button on the burner side and it shuts off. The roar of the flame and its impressive heat fades. Next time then, sleeper. He waves you away and begins to oil the walk. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of circular scars across his forearms, each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pin marks. You walk away, and as you do, you take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be Bach. Alright, mä sain syötyä. Voidaanko me nyt mennä nukkumaan? Ei bängäri musa. En saiko. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with glittering lights, like stars reflected in a winter lake. It is clearer, crisper than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads, you see bright shapes, caches of shimmering light beneath transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of a thread across the ring through these forms, then leap off into the void. You begin to understand these are nodes and connections, a map of information, of communication. There are so many layers, so many loops that it seems almost impossible to parse. But you begin to try. Focus on the nodes. The nodes are glassy, bright, but in all this flow, they're only solid and fixed points. You approach one, a pyramid or a triangle, dimensions are difficult here, and lean closer to it. Inside, shifting layers conceal a tangle of threads, a meeting point of exchange. But before you can glimpse any further, the glass clouds and hardens, cutting you off. The threads and nodes. Passages and puzzle boxes. One leads to another. There is so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the paths and open the boxes. You look out across this ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then that insistent tugging again, pulling at you. You look down again and see two lines, two threads pulling in different directions, as if they were tied to you. The first thread leads out away from the station into the inky black. Someone out there is tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They are in a ship, and the ship is approaching ever closer with each cycle. The second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follows it, and this time you see something, a sphere shimmering above a strange angular body. A pulse shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch beam, testing you, tasting you. You open your eyes. Time is short. Something has changed inside you. You can now access the data cloud of the Eye, a network of decaying protocols and data caches. While there, you can use dice and items to access systems and extract data. But be careful, these networks are old and strange. Click the I button at the top of the screen to toggle this view on and off. There's no I button. Order fungus. Saanko tosta lisää? No, en saa. Ei. Leave. Mun pitää mennä kyllä. Katotaan. Manual salvage. You ache from hammering away at the scrap, and most of it crumbles into worthless rust. You call it a day early before you injure yourself. Tarvii kyllä lisää rahaa. Katsotaan, jos me saatais tosta. Yes! Hyvä. Sieltä vähän lisää massia. Sitten me voidaan mennä tänne. Toi vielä kolme sykliä, eli tonne ei päästä tänään. Katsotaan, jos me As you close up, a voice echoes down the corridor towards you. Sleeper, wait up. Turn. Feng is coming down the corridor towards you, a wonky grin on his broad face. Hey, glad I caught you. Do I know you? He grins. You do now. He puts a hand on your arm. I've seen you hanging around, just want to chat. You staying in this thing? He nods back to the container, shaking his head. Rough. It can be hard to start on the eye. He looks down, way down the passage. What was it old Erlen said? The eye open for us all? Nice idea, but not always very practical. He glances back at you. We do our best, but it isn't easy. Erlen? You pass together into the main walkway. No one has told you about Erlen? He's the founder of this place, well, that's why it bears its name. Havenage should organize some seminars, he laughs. Not really my department, though. I'm with the systems. Systems? Everything that I runs on. He runs a hand along the passage wall. This place is ruined, but systems keeps it spinning somehow. At least we try to. He stops you in the quiet passage. Look, that's not what I'm here to discuss. I saw you around when, well, I know a little about you, sleepers. I have a little proposition for you. He glances around. But this is not the place for it. I have an office just across the way. Give me a cycle or two to prepare. Then, when you are settled, stop by. He lowers his voice and gives you a dark look. In truth, I need you. If what they say is true about you, sleepers, well, there's work to be done. He pats you on the back, his voice bright and his dark look suddenly gone. Stay clean, sleeper. He walks off down the passage, raising a hand in farewell. Oh God. Hall dissection. Oliko se nyt niinku negative outcome? Saimme siitä... Oh, bloimi. Pitää hakea leave. Where's the food? No, sieltä. Meillä on itse asiassa hyvin Mutta mitäs me tehdään sillä? Toi ei ole vielä valmis. Toi tulee ensi vuonna. Ei, leave. Missä se on se? Ok, toi näytti pelottavalta. Mä en halua mennä tuonne uudestaan. Missä se oli se? Tässä. Tässä. Ei kun oota. No, otetaan sen sitä assist a shipbuilder. You shadow a shipbuilder who is impressed when you know how to double seal a hull plate. He slips you a tip at the end of the shift. That's tää kans. Tostako me ei saatu nyt mitään end cycle. Tää alkaa ihan sujumaan. Katsotaan mitä täällä on. Katsotaan unload containers. Yes, hyvä. Sieltä tuli rahaa. Mut nyt meillä ei kyllä varaa ostaa. Mitä me on pakko pakko tehdä hull dissection. Yes, hyvä. Nyt on hyvin rahaa. Sitten voidaan käydä syömässä. Saadaan kato energiat pohjimmeensa. Noin. Hyvä. Sitten voidaan mennä tänne. Sleeper! Thing catches your attention as you approach the Havenage building leaning against a bay door to the side of the entrance. You approach. Easier to come in this way. Security, all that. He gives you a look, you know. He slams a button and the bay creaks open, blinking lights in the dark behind it. You follow Feng inside. Truth be told, I don't spend much time upstairs. This is where I work, or hisses it as it closes behind you. The bay is filled with pieces of hardware all rigged up to generators and diagnostic slates and things you don't recognize that glow with blue screen light. There is a chorus of hums that blends into a single wave of static, filling the dark corners of the room. Feng leans on a server stack and gestures around. Like it? It's a mess. Hey, this old station is a mess. This is what I have to work with. He taps a nearby server stack, which bleeps in response. This is my treasure trove, all dredged up from the sea of systems we call the Eye. You won't believe what this place runs on. He steps over a towering block speckled with vents. Some of these systems are from the original station, the E1, or the one Solheim built. We've had to invent new components, repair things we never built, reverse engineer the entire subsystems into existence. Residents here look up at the Eye and think they are seeing constant, concrete reality. But these places exist in constant flux, decaying and growing, collapsing into new configurations. He walks down between the hardware stacks and you follow. We're keeping this place alive, but also remaking it into something new, dragging it away from those corporate origins. He stops. At least that's what I'm trying to do. To face you among the flickering machines humming all around you. I know you can see this too, Sleeper. All these systems and sections. You can't you? I can see it. It makes sense, right? You are between here and there, between the people and their systems. You light this place up like a beacon. That's what I need. You glance at the lights around you, and as you do, they seem to flicker, to realign, to follow your gaze. Feng notices it too. I'm guessing being a beacon isn't always ideal when you're on the run, though. They are tracking me. He pats you on the shoulder. Maybe I can help with that. There's a lot of old growth in this place. Subsystems I can't see, access protocols, lost to timers and decay, secrets. A shitload of secrets. With your help, I can unlock this place, break off those last ghost gleams of corporate control. He lowers his voice below the hum. Even in Havenage, there is old growth. Those whose roots trace back into the bad old days. You help me dredge up the past, and I'll see what I can do about that tracker of yours. He winks. What do you see, Sleeper? I'm in. Feng pumps his fist and claps you on the shoulder. He meets your eye. You won't regret it, Sleeper. Feng passes you a ragged-looking metal tab. A gift, he smiles. It's Solheim cipher. I dug it up from the depths of the station. Slot that into the old network gate and you'll be able to pull out all kinds of secrets from the nodes inside. He walks you back to the front of the bay. Start by bringing me whatever you can turn up. Use that emulated mind of yours and see what's out there. Let's get a picture of how things are. Those above, he nods at the ceiling, have granted me an acquisitions budget. I can pay you now for whatever useful data you're breeding in. I know you need it. He slams the door button again. Keep it calm, quiet, and keep it clean, Sleeper, and I'll see you soon. You step, blinking back out into the passage, those flickering lights still in the back of your mind. Jaha. Onko se niinku täällä? Tuommoista nuppaa mulle ei nyt oo. Mutta eihän mä saa tota ikinä auki. Ei tää olisikaan auki. The first thing you see on entering is the glint of Toshiro's implants, like cat's eyes in the dark of the corridor. He nods you in as you arrive at Sabine's store. The entryway is still dark and you push through the sheeting into the surgery. I have it. Sabine stands with a case open in front of him, a set of vials lined up inside, separated by foam inserts. They pick one up, rotating it in the warm light. I have no idea how Yadakan, they trail off. We should treat this with caution. It looks authentic, but I have no idea if it's really what it appears to be. I don't care. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but we need to be careful. Unfortunately, I am not sure we have another choice. They gesture for you to sit on the bed. The stabilizer works under a similar principle to an immunosuppressant in a transplant operation. in that it stops your body from rejecting the unfamiliar part of itself. In the case of your frame, the unfamiliar part is each of your biosynthetic organ groups, which over time are identified by your body as foreign material and therefore must be eliminated. Sabine holds up a vial of the would-be stabilizer. However, unlike an immunosuppressant, the stabilizer doesn't do this by limiting your entire immune system. Instead, it re-encodes your biosynthetic organs with a new protein chains, which act as passcodes within your immune system. The stabilizer refreshes those passcodes, keeping your frame from rejecting all of its own organs. Which means the stabilizer should be able to encode any organic or biosynthetic matter to be accepted by your immune system. They glance away. At least if the stabilizer is genuine. The only way to know for sure is to inject the vial. They begin readying the syringe. I will start with a small dose to limit the risk. Okay, let's do it. Sabine cracks the glass neck of the stabilizer vial and uses a syringe to extract a fraction of the liquid. They tap the syringe and you watch as if any sign might emerge from the clear liquid. You barely feel the needle, your frame registering the initial injection, but with little response. A sensation begins to spread from the site. A fizzing, trembling wave that disperses through your arm with incredible speed. Your vision goes white, and when it returns, Sabine appears encased in shards of sparkling light that slowly fade into darkness as you settle back against the bed. You swim in darkness, muffled noises like an argument heard from underwater. Prickling waves of cold. When you sit back up, Sabine is sitting in a chair by the window facing away from you, backlit by the glow of their slate. Awake? Yes. The stabilizer is genuine. They sit down beside the bed. I don't know how Jarakan acquired a case of this stuff, but they did. Sabine looks troubled, distracted. You should rest for some more, but you are going to have to do that somewhere else. They gesture to the door. I have other patients. Sorry. Sabine nods towards the case. I'm afraid I can't offer you any more doses. You are going to need to pay for your next dose. Silence fills the room and they return to their glowing slate. Looking around the room, it seems different somehow, as if things have moved or shifted. You wonder, how long have you been out? Sabine? Nothing comes free, sleeper. Remember that. You manage to get to your feet and wander out into the hallway. The queue stretches down the flickering corridor. Toshiro stands impatiently by the door and fixes you with a glare as you leave. You lower your eyes as you stumble past, somehow faintly aware of the station spinning beneath you. Hey, I'm stable. Hyvä. Nyt me voidaan mennä nukkumaan. Paitsi missä meidän unipaikka? Tossa. Et kyklä. Saa nähdä paljon toi seuraava injektio maksaa. No mut meillä ei mitään hätää tästä vielä. Unload containers. Ai. Olis se nyt niinku... On. Katsotaan, jos me saadaan tosta. Jes, hyvä. Ai. Me saatiin ihan hyvin tosta. loppu syödä. Syödään tässä vaiheessa juusan täyteen energiaa. Hei, kato, Pangos-fan. Toi maksaa 100 se, ok. No se pitäisi tulla aika nopeasti tässä. That's all materials. The materials are heavy and you barely understand where you are going, but you keep your head down and hold your affairs here. Katsotaan. Toivottavasti tää menisi läpi. Ei mennyt. Ok. Sitten me voitais vielä kuule ostaa täältä. Mä safkaan on energiat täynnä sitten. Ahaa, mitäs mulla tapahtuu? Tää. Sleeper, Emphis calls out to you, a booming voice that echoes through the corridor. Tell me a story. He throws a hand of chopped mushroom into his walk, the fire leaping up to meet the oil. I see you, cycle in, cycle out, but we never speak. Tell me a story. What kind? Any kind. He pauses to drizzle something from a plastic bottle into the wok. But one of yours, he looks up at you. Nothing stolen. You pause, the spices rich in your nostrils, and you think about the kind of story you would like to tell Emphis. You look at Emphis, the listener, and imagine he has already heard it all before. Perhaps he would enjoy a strange story, something with some spice. Tell him about your dreams. All the sleepers, you tell Emphis, have dreams. Some were simple memories left over from the emulation process that had become tangled up in their minds and would come out when they slept. It wasn't rare to hear a sleeper in the dorm scream or cry out in the night. But your dreams, those grey skeletal after images of systems and structures, of threats and patterns, weren't like the others. They weren't memories or nightmares. They were reflections of reality, distorted, yes, but somehow true. You learned back then to keep quiet about them, to let them flow through your mind like water. That was until now, until you arrived in this place. Now your dreams colonize your waking life. They slip behind your eyelids with every blink, and now you understand that they aren't dreams at all, but some process of interfacing, of speaking, of living in another world that flows through this one like smoke through air. You tell him that you do not know if there is a reason for your dreams. Perhaps you reason it is just some side effect or particular quality of the frame you inhabit. But whatever it is a gift, and you hope to make use of it. Emphis finishes cooking and squints a little at you. Sleeper, he smiles. You are quite the storyteller. He eyes you and you realize that he is trying to gauge how honest have you been in your story. Emphis passes you the meal he has cooked and you take it gratefully. As you eat, he talks a natural exchange. Thank you, Sleeper. He looks around the empty market. But my time is done for today, and I do not want to keep you longer, so I will make a proposal. He gestures to the plastic boxes of ingredients stacked behind his stall. These are good enough for most, but someone told me a story that made me think a couple of cycles ago. They said that across the gap in the greenway, fresh mushrooms grow. Have you heard this? No. Neither had I. I trust the one who told me. Emphis begins packing up his things. Can you bring me some? I cannot cross the gap, and I worry about leaving my things behind, he smiles. I am sure a storyteller like you could handle the trip. I will prepare them for you, and if you wish to tell it, be the audience for another story. Agreed. Good, booms Emphis. Then I will wait for you to bring them. Emphis lights his walk away and straightens up. I will prepare a recipe then, Sleeper. Good luck with your foraging. You turn away and walk back into the main market, the rich taste of Emphis's food still lingering in your mouth. Stories for food, you think, are a trait that seems more than fair. No niin, sitten päästään nukkumaan. En mä viitti, Nortti. En mä viitti. Ei, miksi mulla on näin huonot nopat, bro? Ei, mut täällä oli se joku. Olis tää? This note is leaking corrupted contractor lists from the early days of the system Palladium Rush. As you drift back from the note, something latches onto you. A thread strung tight around you, it tethers you in place. A taste. The voice makes you shiver. It soars somehow both distant and close behind your ear. You see a distant glint of light shut off, and then suddenly a shape is at your side. It stalks around you, circling like a shark, like a wolf. Entity unknown, astringent, processing. Stay still. Please hold. The thread around you thickens until it is a ring, a cylinder, a tunnel of light circled around you. It is blinding for a moment and then it is gone. As it fades, you see a figure, a creature in front of you. Its strange head flickers between different angles, reading you. What did you do? The shape paces around you on lithe legs, though there is no ground here to pace on. Entity identify, origin, serial cadence. The figure faces you expectantly. Sleeper, SNARP. Unknown. Known. The figure's strange head rotates. Brackish signature. Off and not off. Attempting interface. As the figure speaks, more threads begin to spiral from its head. Thick, snaking vine-like ribbons that flex and wave. They approach with intent. Run. You kick off and glide away through the cloud, their threads surging after like predatory tentacles. They follow, wrapping the space around you until you are held within a web, a tangle of tentacles closing. Stop. Hunter holds its threads, its head twitching. Entity, your identity is unknown. We only seek to correct illegalities. Can you confirm your legal right to sentience? I'm a person. Incorrect. You are an entity. All at once, Hunter's head is directly in front of yours, blocking your vision. You stink of their taste. The one from the sealed dock. Hunter shimmers with fury. I will find access. I will interface. I don't understand. An entity hides in the rotunda. You are its puppet. Hunter extends a razor-edged thread. I will not be diverted from my task. It glows with murderous intent. Strike. You lash out with all your force. Not a physical strike, but a spike of interference leaping out like the tip of a spear. Hunter stumbles, shifts, separates. Wake up. You open your eyes, blinking back into the station light, shaking with fear. Hyi. Se yritti tappaa mun. Itse asiassa, no... Hei, me takaisin. Takaisin. No, sieltä tuli vähän rahaa. Joo, täällä ei tukea mitään. Pitäis kokeilla? Katsoa, että jostain tulisi jotain scrappia. Random scrap iron, scrap allowance. Ei sell components. 12. Trusted trader. Hyvä. Oh no, oh no, 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 no. Nyt on energiat niin vähäiset, pakko mennä syömään. Where's my food? Missä mun ruoka? Tuolla. Order fungus. Rahat rundille. Oh. Sitten nukku. Nyt mun pitäis kyllä saada kerättyä se huntti. Missä mä saanut kaikkia viittä? No toi 5 on ihan hyvä. Sitä on nyt. Jes, hyvä. Tää. Ei. Tästä ensin. Yes. No nyt mä voin tehdä tota. No ei se mitään. Dragos. Jonkun mä voisin vielä tehdä. Eikö toi ei täällä? Katsotaan mitä se Dragossa on. You arrive into a buzz of activity at the yard. Red blinking lights flash across a vast dark shape suspended below the dome. They flicker across scorched hull plates and bent structures spilling from holes in the wood twisted shape. The cutter is huge and has been torn apart in some violent encounter. She's a beauty, isn't she? Drago stands to the side, focused on the hulking ship as it is lowered into the yard. She is. I should thank you. This place was on its last legs when you turned up. And now look at this. The ship's descends slowly, its interior visible through multiple hull breaches. You struggle to gather the same enthusiasm as Dragos for his monstrous craft. You can't help but think of what became of its crew. Stay silent. Believe it or not, I managed to convince our salvager friends to give it to me on credit. He glances at you. The ship creaks like a calving iceberg as it reaches the base of the yard. Dragos is visibly excited. I know I said you shouldn't stick around, but I'm gonna need some help with this one. The drones start to crawl over the hull, their lights illuminating flashes of dented hull. Watching you wonder if you arrived in a similar fashion locked inside that container, the wreck of the SNR freighter lowered into the yard like a corpse ready to be butchered. Or was the container delivered to Dragos on its own, a womb for your rebirth into this strange station? You shudder. Perhaps if you could learn something about this ship, you might be able to trace the path that led you to this yard. Dragos squeezes your shoulder. After these past cycles, I think we're up to it. What do you think? You see the fading name of the ship emblazoned on its side. Winterlight. Let's do it. He claps you on the back. Glad to hear it. Come back in a few and we can make a start. A real beauty, Dragos repeats, perhaps just to himself. You take one last look at the shattered ship as the drones start cutting and then slip out of the yard, feeling suddenly cold in the empty passage. Hey, upgrade point. But how to upgrade? Ois tietysti voinut lukea tosta. Eikö ootpa? Tää on engineer. Joo. Thank you. Eiku niin täällä ei tapahtunut nyt mitään. Mulla on pakko syödä kuitenkin. Tää vielä yksi sykle ja sit pistetään tältä päivältä paketti. Mä luulen, että me jatketaan tätä peliä kuitenkin sit niinku seuraavalla kerralla, mutta nyt on aika nukkua ja ottaa toi viimeinen sykling tosta. Missä mä sain vaan 4? Miten toi niinku, no joo, ei sulla väliä. Eikö tää oli safe? Negative outcome. No, ei se mitään. Me tarvitaan lisää rahaa. Ei, tää oli auki nyt. Mulla ei ole rahaa. Thanks. Taas tää tänne. No hyvä. Ei me saada tää täytä. Yes sirree. Tänne autot on nyt varmaan joku. Oho. From the walkway, the sidereal horizon looks impossibly vast. A landscape of plating and frames. All along her flank, torches flicker, drones maneuver, arc lights glint. The sense of scale of industry is both stunning and strangely unsettling. She's quite beautiful, I think. You turn to see a figure a little way down the walkway leaning at the railing. He is thin, ragged, his work gear poorly fitting and loose. The torches of the sidereal horizon flicker in his eyes as he turns to you. Lem. Lem. He leans back from the rail, revealing a child standing beside him, staring out at the ship. And this is Mina. He adds with a smile. Hi, Mina. She stares and tucks herself behind Lem, who dutifully picks her up. She's a little slow to trust, aren't you, Mina? She parries her face in the folds of his overalls. Mina looks out from Lem's chest, a dark brown eye twinkling among the rough material. You're working on her, then Lem asks eagerly, gesturing to the vast ship, or just admiring. He shifts Mina's weight to the other. Working. Me too, he flashes a Havenage pass. I knew it just to look at you. I mean, he stumbles a little over his words, not wanting to be misunderstood. I mean, you look like a worker. She's Mina and my ticket out of this place, our escape vector, so to speak. The ship? You haven't heard? Anyone who takes a Havenage contract on the sidereal horizon will be entered into a draw for the transit support crew. He smiles. We won't get to sleep the journey through, but a couple of decades of service will be nothing for me and Mina if it means landfall on a new world, he winks. Decades? It's a long trip. He straightens up, stretching his back. That's a colony ship, friend. The Sealis Foundation is sending thousands of people to settle a system well outside the reach of core worlds. It'll be a totally independent colony, no surrogacy, no corporation. Sounds crazy. Could be. But you see another way out of here. This way we can build a home somewhere with real gravity, real air, rain. He plays with Mina's hair absent-mindedly. Rain, Mina. You'd love that, I think. Mina responds by pushing his hand away. Daddy, she whispers. Food. Pulling in an exaggerated grumpy face. She glances furtively at you as she plays with a set of dog tags that hang from Lem's neck. I'm just chatting a little, Meanie. Give Daddy a sec. He turns back to you and you suddenly notice how tired he looks. I'm not on the Havenage crew yet, but I'll work my way in. You can do it too, friend. We have to stick together. He smiles a little shakingly, and you wonder how long he has been working to break into the official shipyard crew. Yeah, maybe. He looks out at the sidereal horizon as if trying to pull energy from those flickering torches from the vast hull. We've got to hold out, okay? You aren't quite sure what he is if he's talking to you. That's how it works. While he stares out, Mina catches your eye curiously. You agree, Mina? She straightens up and meets your eye. Daddy loves me, she says it stubbornly, daring you to question her. Lem smiles and lifts Mina. That's it. We hold on. He smiles sleepishly at you. We are just a couple of softies, isn't that right, Mina? He sets her down, standing by his side, and she clings to his leg. Gotta go feed this one. He pats her back. Maybe see you on a shift, huh? He turns and they walk down the walkway away from the shipyard. You see them talking, and then a moment later, Mina turns around and stops. See you, robot. Her shout echoes down the whole walkway, and she flashes you a parting smile before running to catch up with Lem. You watch them a little before you turn back to the impossible scale of the sidereal horizon. A ticket out. Hyvä. Tähän on nyt hyvä lopettaa. Hei, kiitos kaikille kun olitte katsomassa. Nyt on aika sanoa hei, Sanne, heippodei. Ja ensi viikolla on Jesse pelaamassa Tekkeniä keskiviikkona kello 17 eteenpäin. Tai voi olla, että on aikaisemminkin jo. Mut Jesse ilmoittelee siitä, niin palataan silloin ja muistakaa talvilomalla 12 tunnin striimi. Nähdään siellä. Se on. Hei hei. Hei hei. Hei. Hei hei.